Sahana bhavatu, Sahana bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were looking at the difference between experience and knowledge. So we applied it to the case of the rising sun. And we also saw that the understanding by an adult that it is not a rising sun is like Sopadika Brahma, where the Brahma is gone, but the Upadhi is still there, and that doesn't bother. Very similar to that is the blueness of the Akasha. That once you understand that the blueness really doesn't belong to Akasha, it is that's a very beautiful example, because you don't know what blueness is. You know, it's some refraction, something, there's no substance to it. But yet it makes the Upahita blue. And it can be confusing if you don't know what is going on. But once you know, it doesn't matter, because the experience has been sublated, badita, by the knowledge that really sky cannot have a blueness as a fundamental part of it itself. Okay. So now a doubt can arise at this point, which is, it is okay to have a mistake about something like this, blueness of the sky or the sun rising, etc. But that doesn't apply to me. Because I have, you don't, it's like somebody's saying, let me tell you about yourself. So you will say, you are going to tell me about me? You don't even know me. And I know myself very well. There's nobody else in the world that knows me better than I do. So how are you going to tell me something? I'm going to tell you something completely about yourself. I'm going to tell you something that is going to potentially move from your partial ananda to full ananda. So here Raju had just talked to me and said, can you please define ananda? Ananda means, you can look at it different ways, different words to describe the same thing, really. It's just peaceful joy, where I feel I don't need anything, a sense of completeness. So this is, Swami Dayananji had spent a lot of time discussing this. He was saying this is called alam buddhi. Alam buddhi means there's nothing that I need, I'm okay. A sense of satisfaction, which is joyous, joyful, and peaceful. It's not excitement. It's not relief. All those things are close to it. They are offshoots of the ananda. Relief means that you had some concerns, and now that concern is over, so the relief is tinged with the removal of the concern. But pure Ananda means you don't need anything. So here, very interesting point that Swami Dayanandaji had once said, that really speaking, there are very few things in the world that give you alam buddhi. One of them, this is why it is so highly regarded and precious, is annam, food. Because what happens is that if you're eating, a number of beautiful things happen because it is so fundamental to the human being. Hunger, the removal of hunger, is so fundamental. It is as fundamental as Ananda, that when you are eating, you naturally tend to forget about other things. You don't worry about what the stock market is doing, how your children are doing. They are there in the background, of course, but they cease to occupy you. Why? Because I have this dal and sambar and something which has the effect of just overwhelming me with my attention. Not overwhelming me, but they occupy me and so on. So now that what happens is, there's only one thing that bothers at this point. Other things are forgotten and so on. Continued hunger. You feel that I have yet to go, I'm not done yet. So this is what happens. You figure out, should I eat 2 idlis, 3 idlis, 4 idlis? How many should I take? And finally you eat them. And that's another very beautiful thing. As you are eating, you are not waiting for the hunger to go, because the hunger is going as you're eating. Okay? But not completely gone yet, but it is diminishing, no doubt about it. By the way, the same thing, this is analogous to teaching, that your sense of satisfaction, it's not going to only come at the very end when you figure everything out, which is happening, which is going to happen. But as the teaching progresses and you begin to understand even pieces of it, your sense of, I think I'm moving in the right direction, improves. And so the sense of, you can even say you get partial moksha. You get partial moksha, there's no such thing as partial moksha, but you get sort of like bits and pieces of it as you go along. Anyway, going back to the example of the annam and the alam buddhi, there comes a point where you are done. And if somebody says, can you please have another idli? You say, no. No, I'm done. This is what happens. You're sitting there and some people come and say, do you want anything else? This feeling that I am done, I don't need anything, alam buddhi, is a kind of an ananda. In the general, and so Swami used to say that you don't find this feeling of alam buddhi anywhere other than for a few minutes after eating. You don't need anything, you're happy, you're full, and with all the other thoughts, there is no real alam buddhi. except for a jnani. And so for a jnani, when you get an idea of who I am, there is a alam-buddhi. I don't need anything. This is the fullness of the ananda. But the ananda is just defined something which is available for everybody. This is why I say the hunger is a very, very tough thing, really. And it's very true. There are families around the world that don't get halam buddhi, even they don't have enough to eat. They have to go to sleep. And children are, it's a very sad thing. And there's enough food in the world. It's not as though we don't have it, but it just doesn't get to the right people. But anyway, the definition of ananda is I'm okay. I don't need anything. And there it is only for a short time. I think I was telling the students one time, I read this somewhere. There is a Swami in India. Not only is he a Swami, he's also a scholar, he's a researcher. So he said, I want to find out how long does the feeling of alam buddhi last? So he did a research on it. And he found out no more than 15 minutes. And generally much less than that. It all depends. As soon as you're eating, if you get a phone call from someone, there goes your alam buddhi. If the news is not good. So it's very short, really. That's all it is. Anyway, going back to the doubt that we have, that I can understand, that I don't understand. I can understand the difference between experience and knowledge about other things. But how does that apply to me? I know what I am. You cannot tell me who I am. I'm dealing with it the best I can. Who are you to sort of come by and say, I can help you? How can you help me? This is where, there are these famous Drishtanta examples. And we saw the Raju Sarpa Drishtanta, very important, very important. Because that's the basis of Brahma and Brahma and all those kinds of things. This is an example of Dashamosi. You are the 10th man. This is a very important example. So, the example is, there were these people that were crossing the river, and there was one senior person who was designated as the one who would take care of all these younger teenagers and so on. And it was a very mountainous river, and you had to be very careful. So the Swami of the Gurukulam said, listen, I'm very concerned. I don't think you should be going. They said, no, sir, we know swimming. There's a couple of people that don't know it very well. We'll keep an eye on them. I'm 19 years of age. So he said, okay, all right. I don't like it, but if you insist, have fun, but take care. Be careful, okay? So all this is important because already there is a little concern in the mind. Be careful. That means that there is a possibility of a problem. So then as you know, what happens is that in the confusion of counting and so on, he did not count himself. And he was counting, but he was only, and what happened was that the more he counted, and it was incomplete, and the more he got agitated. And when you are agitated, then you can't even count properly. And so all this was happening. So then this guy comes up and he said, what's happening? Why are you guys so unhappy? What is it? And the others were unhappy because this guy was unhappy. And he was a leader. And he was asking, do you know who's lost? And they said, we don't know who's lost. We're counting everybody. I think everybody's here. They were not counting this one guy. So this fellow came around and said, what is the reason for your shoka? So, and then he said, very simple. We used to be complete and we are now incomplete. And you think that's a very small thing? We've lost a human being. So he said, that would be terrific. Really? How many were you before you started? He said, we were 10 and now they're 9. This guy made a quick thing. He says, 10 people. I don't understand. So we figured out what had happened. That must have happened. That he's forgetting to count himself. And so he basically said, you are the 10th person. So now look at this example. This is a very important example. I am wailing for a reason which is, he was wailing for a reason which is not there. And we are wailing for something very similar. We are exactly like the 10th person who's wailing. It means, not all the time, but if you really fundamentally look at it, the only reason we all appear to be okay is because we don't confide in you. That's all. Otherwise, if you really ask anybody, all kinds of problems will come out. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Really? You're completely okay? Well, there's a couple of things. If they were happened, then I will be completely okay. This is what happens. There's always a couple of things. And this couple of things can be anywhere between 2 and 200. Anywhere there, and they never go away. So this is the situation. We're waiting for something. So some other person can come, some Shastra can come, Shastric person can say, why are you unhappy? Why do you have that view? Well, because what do you mean? I can't, there's something missing. Something missing. This is a very important thing. Please, if you can just see this for a while. We talked about pratyaksha, paroksha, and aparoksha. Keep that in mind as we understand this example. So we asked, what is your issue? He says, what do you mean by this? What is my issue? I need this, you ask somebody, everything is okay, but her daughter is already 27 and she's not dating anybody, and you want her to get married. The daughter is not bothered, but you are bothered. So that's your problem. I'm not happy until my daughter finds, not only does she find the date, but the right date. It should be an Indian boy. All those kinds of things are in the back of your mind. So this person comes in and says, okay, I see what the issue is. But do you know something? You don't need to wail because you're missing something. Really? First of all, I don't even listen to that person. You say, what kind of a talk is this? You don't know me, you don't know my daughter, you don't know what age she is. I'm the one that has to worry about it, I'm her mother. You come along and said, no, there's nothing to worry about, everything is going to be okay. Everything not will be okay, everything is okay right now. So this is exactly like the 10th man was saying, who are you? We have lost a person. And you come along and said, I think I can solve your problem right now. Wow, how? So here, now look at this. He says, the Shastra says, what is aparoksha is being considered to be paroksha. See, in the 10th man example, was he ever paroksha? He's not going to find somebody else to fill in the 10th person. He himself is the 10th person. He is sada paroksha. His mistake is that the aparoksha is really paroksha. Do you know something? This is our situation. The Atma is sada paroksha. Swami Kandananda ji, he uses this Hindi word called apna apa. Beautiful word. I don't know, in English how do you translate it? You'll say, my own minus, M-Y-N-E-S, that's minus. It doesn't have the same. अपने आप आपा, me. मैं अपने आप कर लूँगा. It's me. This is called apa. This apa, is it ever lost? Sada paroksha. But somehow I feel that sada aparoksha, I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate. Because I make a mistake immediately that I am the body-mind complex. Which can be aparoksha, can be paroksha. You are abdicating your I-ness to something which is very vulnerable. Can just go in a minute. Why? It's because you don't know, that's all. There's no other reason. And so, very interestingly enough, in the examples of the 10th man story, what this wise person does, because when he comes in, there's all these people all over under trees on the bank of the river, and this is exactly what this guy was confused about. He was counting everyone, but not in a systematic way, and so he forgot to count himself. So what this wise person did, called Apta Purusha, Apta Purusha. Apta Purusha means one who knows exactly what is going on. No, he can see that right in front of him. So what he said was, okay, I'll solve your problem, but you please do this. Stand in a line, in one single line. Everybody, stand in a line. And as I count, you also count. 1. Got it? 2. Got it? And then this person is standing at the very last one. And he says, 9 have been done, you are the 10th person. And Swami Dayanand used to say, there is a kind of a silly laughter. And the laughter is that of, oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry I bothered everybody. I'm sorry. What I was telling you, in the satsang, somebody said, how do you feel? How do you feel? That I'm very relaxed. But there is something else. You feel very silly. You feel silly that I had fights with you, we do this. Why? What did I do? I shouldn't have done any of that. You were okay. I didn't see you the way I should see you. So there's a feeling of silliness about the whole thing. Prayaschitta. So this is what exactly it is. So I think drawing from this, on this knowledge versus experience business, what it means is that even your own experience can be incomplete. This is what it is saying. So your doubt is untenable, that the difference between experience and knowledge can only apply to other things. It can even apply to you. For this example, this is a very beautiful example, the 10th man example. In a way, we are still doing a little bit of compartmentalizing, having pieces of the thing. We're not completely done everything. So, but we're coming close to it. Okay? So the next Viveka, so all this is really Viveka. As we proceed further, it will become finer and finer and finer. More difficult, more subtle, requires more background. So that's how it is. So the next one we're going to do is to understand the difference between karma and jnana. Viveka between karma and jnana. And the reason we need to do is because from the day that we are born, we are predisposed to karma, doing something or the other. Why? Because my sense of incompleteness never goes. And my tolerance of incompleteness also doesn't go. I want to be a complete person. Everybody wants to be a full person, unconditional, independent. You know, you can see that when, supposing you have a young child and the child doesn't know how to walk, then you can hold the child. But the moment the child knows how to walk, he doesn't want to be held. This is a big problem when you go on a street and the child just runs. You have to be very, very careful. Because he doesn't want to hold, nobody wants to hold his hand. Everybody wants to be independent. But we don't know how to be independent, so we are forced to be dependent, but we don't like it. So, doing something is very, and so the only way to remove my sense of dependence is to do something. Even hunger, eating is a very beautiful thing. I am held back by hunger. How many hours can you go without eating? You'll say, no, I'm a very independent person. I'm not worried about anything. Oh, really? Is why all these, because this is true in California also, I'm sure all the shelves are getting empty. They have these pictures where because of the tariffs and so on and so forth. My wife also says, okay, I think the dolls are going to get much more expensive. So she has bought some extra dolls. You don't even have places to store it all. She's very worried. So, this is the thing. We are predisposed into doing something to alleviate my sense of incompleteness. So, in doing so this is what is called apraptasya prapti, gain of something that you don't have yet. You have a sense of incompleteness and you want to now complete it in some way or the other. Physically, mentally, all those kinds of things. So Swami Khandananda gives a very interesting example. He says, now look, the same thing applies to knowing something. Not just doing something, but to knowing something. If you know something other than yourself, what is involved? He says, just look at it. You want to know something. First of all, you need a light. Complete darkness, you cannot do anything. So you need the sun. So this is called Adi Daivika. Adi Daivika means the sun is a Deva. It's a celestial body. You didn't create it, I didn't create it, Ishvara created it for our benefit. It's called Adi Daivika. Okay. Then you need, let's say you want to see something solid. So this is called Adi Bhautika. Means it consists of one of the 5 Panchamahabhutas. So it is Bhuta. It's very solid. You want to see something. Okay. Adi Bhautika. You know, the other day I think one of the ladies was talking about this statue of Sardar Patel. So if you want to see the statue of Sardar Patel, the statue is Adi Bhautika. To see it, you need the sun, which is Adi Daivika, and you need to have the power of seeing, not just the eye, but a functioning eye. Functioning, there is much more to eyesight than just the Golaka. You can have some person who has lost the very power to see. You can see the eye, but there is nothing, you cannot see it. So you need the power. So this is what is called Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika. So there are 3 factors to complete your desire to see something. Okay? Alright. Now, let us examine what you need to see yourself requires. What is required for you to see yourself? Not something other than yourself, but to see yourself. Do you need the sun? You don't need the sun. Tattva suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyato kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. The sun has no capability of showing you. Is it Adi Bhautika? Is it made up of one of the 5 elements? No. You are not made. You may think you are made, but that's the body. I'm talking about the real you. So you're not Adi Bhautika. Do you need a eyesight to see yourself? No. Sense organs, guna, all these kinds of things, breathing, touching, smelling, seeing, none of them really is useful. Maybe I'm not there. Maybe that's the case. Because our feeling is that if there is something there, then I must be able to see it, possibly touch it, etc. And if you describe an object that can neither be seen, nor be touched, nor be smelled, nor felt, you say, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is the quest of the science. They're looking at a fundamental particle. Sometimes they say it's a wave, sometimes they say it's a string, sometimes they say it's this, it's that. But they keep going, and let's just, this is what Einstein was also saying, that I want a sort of like a fundamental equation of how things are. And he died before he found it. And I'm happy that he never found it, because it doesn't matter, even if he had lived 10 years, he would never find it. It's you. It's so sad, really. All these highly educated people with so much effort and degree and this, that and the other, they don't understand Vedanta. It's so sad. And if they do, they don't completely understand it. They have some idea of it and so on, but not really. PhDs and how much money are looking for consciousness. Somehow we can, as though it's a small particle somewhere that I can live. I feel sometimes barging into some theoretical physicist and said, I know the answer that you're looking for. It'll be a very interesting kind of thing. He would look up and down and upon me and he says, who are you? You're a crazy guy walking into me. Won't listen. So, what do you need to see yourself? अपना आप आपको क्या चाहिए? You don't need the sun, you don't need anything else. That means I'm not there. You are very much there. I am, I am, I am, I am. In Keno Upanishad there is a verse, I think I should have had copies of all that because I don't memorize them. So Keno Upanishad says, you are beyond what you see and you are beyond what you don't see. This is the meaning of aparoksha. You are not pratyaksha, you are not paroksha, but you are there. And it is a wonder, this is the ultimate, as we were discussing, the ultimate rahasyam. This is the biggest mystery of all. That really is a very interesting thing. That the only thing which is always there is not recognized. What to do? So anyway, here the difference between karma and jnanam, and also as Swami Karnananda pointed out, a jnanam of another vastu versus jnanam of yourself are miles apart. Miles apart. And we don't even explore, because we haven't had the time to explore it. something that is so obvious that you don't need to find it. But no, I need to find it. I need to find myself. So this is what happens, people. You know, it's very interesting. If you look at people that go to pilgrimages, in all of the cases, just look at this. You go on a pilgrimage, or you go to a temple to do puja, or you go on a vacation. What are the end points of all of them? And what is it that you are seeking in all of them? When you go on a vacation, and you can spend a lot of money staying at a 5-star hotel in Hawaii, and you go through all these airlines and this, that, or the other, and passports and etc., all kinds of things and so on. Then you check into the hotel, and then you're not completely happy yet. But next morning, you tell the people, please save a seat for me next to the pool. And then you go to the pool, and then you lie down, and you feel, wow, I am so happy, wonderful. You get a little bit of an alam buddhi for a short time, before the cell phone rings and you have all those kinds of things. But in the alam buddhi, what is it that you are seeking? Yourself. It's just that right now your mind says, I'm not happy here. This is not Hawaii. This is just Pennsylvania. Nothing big about that. This is the problem. It's the same self. You experience it. Same thing happens in a pilgrimage. You go and you climb all these char dhams and God knows all these places, and then you just go to and you look at Shiva. And then you know what happens? You watch this, it's very interesting. You go to look at Shiva, but when you get there, you close your eyes. And very nice, because Shiva is not out there, it's just you. So we have so much tamasha, so much goes on, this, that, or the other. But we're missing the thing that we are really looking for, which is you, already there. What karma and what jnanam are you going to do? So this kind of a viveka between jnanam and karma is very important. Because until we do that, we do not understand where we are making a mistake. We are busy chasing shadows. Okay, I think we will stop here and take the next topic in the evening. So, there's so much to be done, but I think it will take more time to build. So we'll stop here. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti. 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
I made a mistake then.
Yes.
As I looked, I thought it was 11:45. You're okay to go on?
Yes. Yes. Please.
Sorry guys, all online people, goodbye. So now we would look into the implications and the details of superimposition and its removal. Adhyaropa apavada. We've already introduced it, if you remember, in one of the topics that we had taken up early. So one thing here to note is, in Vedanta, I think this is a good point to point that out, is that in Vedanta, there are three things that are used to determine the truth. One is called Shruti, the second one is called Yukti, and the third one is called Anubhava. Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava. Shruti means what is pointed out. What is pointed out? Remember, Shruti had two sections. One was Sarshanam and Samshanam. So Samshanam was what is taught, what is pointed out. You know, it's interesting, we can look at these three things in the case of the 10th man example that we just did. So, in the 10th man example, this Apta Purusha saying, you are the 10th man, is the Shruti. Because something had to be said to prove what was going on, right? That you are the 10th man is the Shruti. Yukti means reason. Yukti means our own mental capacity to analyze and understand what is being said. So in that example, this is why I think it is very interesting, a lot of the acharyas have pointed out, that this fellow who told them that you are the 10th man doesn't do it randomly. What he did was, as I have pointed out, he put everybody to, in a single line, so that there is no doubt in people's mind. This is called yukti. Finally, the smile on the person's skin, my God, nobody is lost, it's me. I'm so happy. Is Anubhava. So all three can be seen, even in a simple example, right? So now what happens is, in Vedanta, whatever is pointed out is proven. This is what we need to see. Nothing is said that if you are qualified to see it, that you cannot see. It's very possible that you are not qualified to see it. This is very fundamental to the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna told Arjuna the truth about himself, and Arjuna was all agog. Wow, I cannot believe it. Wonderful. And then Arjuna said, so what do I do? What What am I supposed to do next? This was a clear signal that Arjuna completely does not understand yet. He would not even ask the question, so what am I supposed to do next? If he had completely understood. And Krishna knows that he is not yet understood. It takes a while. So, it doesn't mean that everything can be proven to everyone. You cannot ask a child, hey, you know who you are? You're Atma. Would anybody say that? It would be stupidity. So the adhikaritvam has to be kept in mind. But if the adhikari is ready, this is what is said in, honestly this is said over and over again by our acharyas. Please do not discuss Vedanta openly to the general public. Don't do it. You will create problems for yourself and to the others. On the other hand, if you find a student who is apparently qualified and is willing to see, it will be terrible if you don't teach that person. You must teach the person. This is the view of Vedanta. So this is exactly what happens in the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is saying, you're confusing me. You're telling me that the best thing is jnanam, and then you're asking me to be engaged in this war, and why should I do this, and so on. And Krishna, in a very polite manner, wanted to say, you're not ready yet. So please be engaged in the everyday work and think about it. And please come back and I will teach you. I'll keep thinking. And he does. This is why there are 18 chapters. And in the end he says, Nashto Moha. Nashto Moha means what? Remember, now you're all very scholar. You learned a lot. You can actually teach a class now. Moha. You know what moha was? Seeing something which is not there is called moha. So when Arjuna says nashto moha, it means I thought I was a jiva. I saw myself as a body-mind jiva. That is now gone. I see myself as I am. I'm done. So, Hare Krishna says, Shabash. Good. So anyway, going back to what I was saying earlier, this is a very important point. Please make a note of this. If Shastra says something, it provides you with a proof. This is a very interesting thing that Swami Kandananda had pointed out, that if you look at all other disciplines, spiritual disciplines, religious disciplines, they say things but cannot prove it. This is the problem. You cannot say things that you cannot prove. It should be anubhava. Like a 10th man example. Should be reasonable. And also I think I can, I'm diverging a little bit. So here also the yukti. Remember there was shruti, yukti and anubhava. The yukti cannot be independently yukti. It has to be shrutimata yukti. So it says guiding. It guides you for the yukti. I'll give you an example. Typical yukti is, there is no God because we don't see it. This is a normal, where is the God? And if there is one, certainly he is not merciful. Why is he creating all these 26 people got gone down? Where is God? So he's not merciful, and that means he's not even there. This is Laukika Yukti. So in the other disciplines, other than Vedanta, everybody, not just few, this is the uniqueness of Vedanta. In all other disciplines, there may be yukti, but there is no anubhava. Anubhava means proof. Proof. Can I tell you something very, very important and interesting? You know why Ishvara created the state of dream? You know why? Understand this very well. This is the vision, this is the vision of the Mahatmas. Not just ordinary Vedantists. I'm talking about people who have understood the whole thing. They say the dream is a gift of Ishvara as a proof of yourself. What? A gift of Ishvara? How? How is it a gift? Because Ishvara wants to prove something, and he had to devise the best possible way to prove it to you. It is for your own benefit. It is not an ordinary thing. All these Mahatmas, Swami Kandananda and all the other ones that he refers to, they all say this is crucial to view the dream in that manner. How? Why? Here's how. Talk in more detail later, but what the dream proves is that things can look very real when they're not. Understood? You would never have even listened to this if we do not give you the proof of it, and we will. We're going to continue to it. The dream is an absolute marvel of what is called Shivalinga. It's a Shivalinga. And we know just a marble piece with a rounded top. We look upon this as a Shivalinga, and that's fine. The real Shivalinga is the experience of dream. Atmalinga, we chant Atmalinga, Shivalinga. It's Atmalinga. Linga here means a hint. Linga means a hint, strong hint. A hint is the one that allows you to know the truth. Lingyate anena iti linga. Lingyate means jnayate, one that allows you to know. Just like you say, I'll give you a hint. Just the other day, my son was teaching subtraction to Sanya, who's just turned 4. And she and easily. I think this probably she does more than I know, but in my presence Manoj was saying, Sonia, how much is 2 plus 2? He says 4. Easy. How much is 2 plus 3? 5. Okay. Now he didn't go anymore because it starts. Then he said, if you had 4 and you take away 3, you take away 1, how much is left? And I was watching her, it was fascinating. Smart woman, really smart girl. She struggled with it. But she finally got it in her mind. So this is not a good example because he didn't give a hint. But when we teach something, we sometimes give a hint. The dream is a hint. And we'll talk more about that later because we're running out of time. But basically what the dream does, for a real student, otherwise you can just dismiss it, oh, it doesn't mean anything and so on. If you are a thinker, you're a Viveki, you will say, oh my God, what a real experience. And how it disappears in a second. Alarm rings, gone. Whole thing is gone. How are you going to get a better proof of what is going to happen once you know this? It will be gone completely. So, the point that I was saying was, and you can go into this, Vedanta is unique. It doesn't tell you something unless you have the ability to understand it and you have the anubhava. In all the spiritual disciplines, you have Shruti and Yukti but no anubhava. You'll say, how do I know that I can go to heaven? Oh, well, you'll know when you get there. Nobody's ever come back from heaven and said, that was correct. That's not possible. So it is all faith, faith, faith. Not in Vedanta. This time I think we can really end the class. We might as well do it again. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityo ma amritam gamaya, om purnamada purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
So we'll do the picture after the Aarti. Because the Aarti is like
Okay.
so